Hello, pathworkers from around the world. Welcome to the first hybrid international pathwork conference hosted by the International Pathwork Foundation. My name is Judy Hallis. I am a pathworker, I am a helper, and I am a community leader in the Great Lakes Path in Michigan in the United States. With me here to welcome you to this conference, I would like to introduce you to also our International Pathwork Foundation President, Paul Paquette. Paul will be speaking with you personally in just a couple of minutes. I would also like to introduce a couple of co-sponsors, my co-sponsors and friends. I would like to introduce to you Madeline Dietrich. Madeline is a pathworker. She is a helper, she is a teacher, and she is also a community leader in our beautiful host city of Ottawa, Canada. I would also like to introduce Isabelle Munet. Isabelle is a pathworker, a helper, a teacher, and a community leader in Vermont in the United States. We are very excited to be here today with over 200 participants online and in person. And they represent the following countries. They represent Argentina, Brazil, Belgium, Canada. They represent Croatia, Chile, Germany, Israel, Japan, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Mexico, the Netherlands, the United States, and Uruguay. Pathwork is alive in the world. We're very excited to be with you here today, and very excited for us to experience this new era of pathwork in the world. What I would like to do right now is introduce Madeline again and invite her up. She will help us prepare the altar, both in Ottawa and for those of you online, to prepare your altars wherever you might be. In addition, Madeline is going to introduce our esteemed Elder Terry McKay.
Well, on behalf of Pathwork Ottawa, I want to welcome you to the city of Ottawa and to the country of Canada. Just briefly, I want to bring your attention to the center focus here, our altar, for all the proceedings during the conference. And we have flags on the altar representing all of the countries that Judy mentioned, and some beautiful flowers from the earth. In my background, flowers are medicine, so they're helping to hold the space here. And in a little bit, Paul will light the candle as part of our opening, the larger candle. And we have 3 smaller candles that will be lit after Isabel's meditation that she's going to lead us in a little bit. But, and also, if anybody has brought artifacts or sacred objects from your country, from your home, please bring them up and place them on the altar. If you've brought them, we'll take a few minutes now if there are some, but any time during the proceedings, if there's something you want to put on the altar, if it fills up the top, we have cloths to allow it to spill over down below. Yeah. So I want to speak a little bit about the relevance of Ottawa, Canada hosting this conference, and particularly related to the theme of reconciling opposites. Paul will talk a little bit later about how we came to that theme, but for Canadians, the concept of reconciliation is really important right now in our country and in our culture. We are a colony. Canada is a colonized land. Indigenous people have lived on this land forever. But of course, in all the history of colonized countries, the indigenous people were invaded, the land was stolen, and in this time of great change in the world, everywhere in the world, we're trying to address the injustices and the inequalities and this process of colonization. So here in Canada, we're in a process of reconciliation. It's a long process. It's an imperfect process. But more and more, year by year, it's getting on everybody's mind and heart. So one of the things that we do in just as a small piece of reconciliation is that every time we hold an event in the country, we do what we call a land acknowledgement. And that is to acknowledge that the land, that this event, that we are gathered here, the international pathwork community is gathered here on this land. And we want to respectfully acknowledge that this gathering, this conference of the international pathwork community is taking place on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory, indigenous territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people, whose presence reaches back to time immemorial. And on their territory, we are conducting our conference. So we open this gathering with this land acknowledgement and want to show our respect and our gratitude for the indigenous people of this land and their ancestors. We are also very honored tonight to have an elder with us, Elder Terry McKay, and he will do a prayer for our opening and speak to this experience of reconciliation and tell us a bit about Indigenous culture, history, and now. So I want to introduce Elder McKay. Elder McKay is from the, so let me get rid of some of these things. Elder McKay is from the Eagle clan of the Jitantando tribe of the Tishami Nation of the northwest coast of British Columbia, which is in the far west of our country. Terry has been living and working in Ottawa for over 3 decades. He's been involved as an elder with the Odawa Aboriginal Community Justice Program, and from the program's beginning. Terry worked as an upholsterer during his professional career and enjoys making quilted blankets with various Indigenous designs on them. So with great appreciation, Elder McKay, I invite you to come up and I'll hand the microphone to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No, I don't need that.
No?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Is it okay if he speaks? Oh, I can hold it for you, so it gets picked up for the...
Good evening. I am so proud and honored and humbled to be here. My name is Sue Willaka, and in my tribe, that means another great storm. That means a lot to me because of our, what we're talking about is spirituality. My grandfather had 7 names when he passed, and one of his names was a great storm. So I'm following in his footsteps. I've been around here for about 40 years. So I follow the Algonquin traditions. When I came here, I was still a Jimsian, and I knew nothing about the Algonquins. But I asked, I learned, and I watched, and if there's any questions, I go to an elder and ask them, can I do this, do that? Sometimes they'll say no, and sometimes they'll tell me to go someplace else. In their traditions, they always open a meeting with a prayer. So, and that's optional. And if you want to stand and join me in prayer, that's fine. When I say prayer, I say Creator. But that also includes God, Buddha, Allah, whatever deity that you worship. We want to talk to them too. We want them here. We also want our ancestors here, because they're the reasons that we are here, the reasons we were born, the reasons that we are who we are. So this is part of it. We have a rattle. We're asking them to wake up and come and join us. And we want to share your knowledge. So, Creator, we thank you for bringing us safely to another day. We thank you for bringing us together. Today we're going to ask you to send the spirits of our ancestors as we talk about things that can make Mother Earth a better place. We want people who are here to listen and try to understand what we are saying, not be judgmental, and be kind to each other. So we don't have a lot of time on Mother Earth, and let's make the best of it. Creator, we ask you to give us a good night tonight. All my relations, thank you. Thank you. Have a seat. So, I think we're talking about spirituality, right? Okay. A long time ago, plants, animals, rocks, water, air, they could talk to each other. They had a common language in which they could speak. They could understand each other. But they lost it. Mainly because we came along and we did our things. We did whatever we wanted to those animals and plants and the water. We didn't listen to them. And that's part of our heritage. There's nothing worse than having me talk and talk and talk. And then the elders say, they just walk away. They don't listen to you anymore. That hurts. When an elder doesn't listen to you, that hurts. So, anyhow, that's the basis of what I want to talk about. Now, down in the Four Corners, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, forgot the other one. Four Corners, it's where the Hopis live. Right? They have down there what is called the Prophecy Rock. Look it up, Google it. That's what I did. That is a fantastic place. I wish I had enough time on Mother Earth to go there myself and just to be there and talk to the elders about it. That is the basis of our civilization. The interpreters can tell you everything that goes into that rock is the basis for us treating other people, the animals, the air, okay? And so even though we don't speak to the animals and the plants, they still have that spirit within them. It's like us. When we pass on, we still have a spirit. We pass it on. So part of our spirituality is that when we are born to a woman, and that woman usually has a clan. In my part of the world, we have eagle, raven, killer whale, wolf, and a few bear. They were given that clan. I don't know why. I wasn't there. but those animals, they have special talents, mostly about parents, about teaching the young, feeding them, all that. And we teach that, we pass that on from the woman, from grandmother to mother, down to us. So my grandmother was an eagle. My mother follows her, so I'm an eagle. However, nowadays, people abuse that system because there's money behind it. And that's not right. You don't do things because of money. When I came here, I was offered money. I said, well, yeah, sure, whatever. I wonder how much you give me. But even if I didn't offer money, I would still come. Because the knowledge of my ancestors was given to me free of charge. There's no dollar amount. So, and I have to honor that. Whatever I say, it's nothing new. Okay. We've been here thousands of years, and we'll be here more and more. But going back to the Prophecy Rock, Creator made the 4 races: white, black, yellow, and red. Each one has a responsibility. Okay. The black, I believe it's water. The yellow, I believe it's the air. I know the white race, they have a responsibility of fire. And our people is the responsibility as the land. We are known as the people of the land. So, but that doesn't exclude everything else. I mean, I treat the water and the air and fire just as much as I treat the land. So I have to, we're all in this together. But we have to remember what our responsibility is. Okay. Unfortunately, one race, they let that fire, that's a fire in your heart. They let that fire burn too brightly. And now that fire has blinded everyone else, blinded themselves. And they're in it just for money now. And they're not cheering. It's different in my place. We share. I mean, there's people aren't homeless where I come from. It might be a struggle, but we'll find a place for them to live and eat, raise their children. So we have to believe it. And like I said, in that prophecy rock, there's one instruction. They call them original instructions. The main one is to help each other. Help somebody else. So you were given talent. Use it. First, you have to look after yourself. Because if you don't look after yourself, you can't help anybody. Okay? Then you use that talent to help somebody else. I thought I could talk for an hour. But I try to live it. But I'm 78 and getting tired, so I'm going to sit down a bit. I've tried to use my talents as best as I could. I became an upholsterer because I like working with my hands. I did pretty good. As you can see, I didn't get rich, though. I became a basketball coach. That was a lot of fun. Even though my daughter was my main player, she wasn't the only one. I had black, yellow, and white all together on the same team. And I didn't try to, put favors on one and not the other. Sort of look for the ones on the bench, You don't learn nothing on the bench except, get mad at the coach, get mad at the player. So, but I looked at the talents, and if they were fast, I tried to teach them how to dribble. If they had good eyes, I'd teach them how to shoot. That kind of thing. So, and that's something that we have to do now. Look past the color. Color don't mean nothing. Especially if you lived it. Right? I've been places where I had to go in the back of the bus. I've been on basketball teams where, you're not going to play because you're, I won't say it, but it's racial, Part of my background is residential school. It was not a school, okay? Maybe you've heard now, but some people call them graveyards. But when I was about 11 years old, we had what we call IQ test. My IQ was 111. Right now, that's adult range. Okay? But they did not choose to concentrate on my education. I could show you some scars that I got from them. That's why I can't hear very well now. So, but when I came back to my own race, everything became sacred. I put that behind me. I put all that bad experience behind me. I don't want to keep it anymore because I look back and I can see what it did to my wife, my former wife, my children, my friends. I see all the damage, destruction I did because of alcohol. But people saw the goodness in me. And even though it took maybe 20, 30 years to bring that talent out in me, it finally worked. And here I am. I wish I could have now a sign right here, elder. Then I go back to the school and I say, look at this, look at this. I'm somebody now. Because I learned it from people who cared about me. So, and you heard my prayer. Thank you for bringing us safely to another day. That's all I ask for. One more day to teach somebody. And I do a lot of teaching here in Ottawa. And my teachings, my number one teaching is think for yourself. You can read that book. You can listen to the teacher. But in the end, are you going to tell if it's the truth or not? Or there may be different facets of that, whatever they're speaking about. So, and I love mothers. I've been back and forth in Canada about 4 or 5 times, and I see the water, I see the grass, trees, animals. They're there. We just need to get together somehow and heal them. And it starts with you. It starts with me. I'm trying to do my best. Spirituality. When I was young, my grandfather brought me up, and I could feel his love for me. So when I went to school, I survived all that, those scars and beatings and all that. And the psychologist said there must have been somebody's spirit that is with you in school to bring you through that horror story. And it was my papa. So when my time is up here, and Mother he's the first one I'm going to go run to. Say, how did I do, Papa? Maybe he'll say, well, you got to go back again. You did a good job. It's so nice. And I just enjoy this type of talking. How's time?
We're there. It's that time.
Does anybody have a quick question? Or?
We really hope, Elder McKay, that you will stay with us for the evening. And we're going to have some social time afterwards, and that people would be welcome to come and say hello and hear more and ask their questions. Will that work for you?
Sounds good if it's food.
There is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I am. I'm on it. Thank you so much. We've been in leadership meetings for 2 days, and it's so interesting how many of the things that you spoke to were in the field, were in the circle with us, those topics about how to be an elder, how to be a teacher, how to be a leader right now in the world as it is. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom with us and the prayer. So now I would like to take some time to introduce our elder, our president, Paul Paquette. And we've been in leadership session for 2 days, led by Brian O'Donnell. It's been a really rich 2 days. And one of the things that has really come to the fore is the importance of us supporting our leaders. And, you know, as a leader, and certainly Paul, you've done so much for, you know, as your time as a trustee and now as the president of our foundation, you've done so much. And with leaders, we often see what they do. But tonight I want to introduce Paul and tell you a little bit about who he is. And personally, I love hearing the story of their spiritual journeys, because every single person in this room has had a really interesting and unique journey. So I want to share with you a little bit about Paul's journey to become president of our organization. So first, he was a trustee on the board of the International Pathwork Foundation, and is now serving as our president of the board and the foundation. In his very early days, Paul was influenced by Catholicism. Growing up, but that lapsed away when he was a teenager, and he embraced rationalism. He studied literature, which he saw as an expression of the stories of our lives. He also studied business, which led to a successful 40-year career in internal audit and regulatory compliance in the financial industry. So our president is multi-talented, and it's good we've got a good financial person on board. Coming out as a gay man in his 20s, Paul went searching for deeper meanings and connections. He was involved in a lay spiritual community for gay men, where a lot of inspiration was taken from Catholic mysticism and practices of monasticism. He studied theology, and his last academic course was process theology, which opened the door to look anywhere and everywhere for truth and love. In 1996, he met Sage Walker and felt she had the spiritual gravitas that he wanted. Paul ignored the source of the lectures and embraced the wisdom through the Divine Sexuality program that Sage led. He then took our personal transformation program, led by Roddy Duchesne and Louise Stevenson, Helpership led by Sage and Nadia Beck, and the Renaissance program led by both of those women. In 2016, Paul decided to investigate who was Eva Pierrakos and how did she do what she did. This led to a deeper coming to terms with the mystery of how and why we exist on this earthly plane, and the importance of each of our unique incarnations in the universal story. It also opened the door to serving this path work through membership on the board and the presidency. So at this juncture, I want to hand the microphone over to Paul and take us forward, leader.
Thanks, Madeline. Mic going okay there? Just give me the signal. And I'll have my first slide. So I just want to talk a little bit first about the board. And we do have 6 trustees for the International Pathwork Foundation. For anybody here or in the cloud, the International Pathwork Foundation is a legal entity that owns the copyright to the lectures and who has a mission to promote the use of the lectures, promote the wisdom of the lectures, to keep the integrity of the lectures, but also keep them alive and dynamic. And So serving on the board right now are Jack Conaway, and Jack is going to walk over here. Or trot, I don't know, Jack. You can you do your silly dance. And
what am I going to do now?
I could introduce you, but you're going to introduce yourself.
I'm Jack Conaway. I have the money. But there's not a lot of it, so it's fine. I'm on the board of trustees, as you can see up there. I live in New York. I've been a helper for quite a while, core therapist, teacher. And the pathwork is just kind of totally infiltrated into my life. My wife, too, my good friends, and my heart. So I'm giving this time to helping foster and protect Eva's gift to us.
Thank you, Jack.
Hi, I'm Donna Gray, and I'm from New York City. I did my helpership at PWP. Is it called, what did we call it? We called it Pathwork Studies at that time, and helpership in Phoenicia. And I've been I was on the board in the New York region. I was the president for a little while. And now I've served as a trustee for a long time. I've lost track of how long, maybe 18 years, something like that. And I do it out of love because the pathwork has given me so much. And it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to serve and give back in my own way from who I am.
Anita Heald is an English woman who has had 25 or more fabulous years in Mexico, enjoying herself, and we can tell that from the Mexican community, which is so lively. And so with that little introduction.
I think Paul just gave my speech for me. So I've lived in Mexico for 28 years, and I went all the way to Mexico to find the pathwork. So I'm here today with some of the members, our directors here, Olga, Tanaka, Judith, Guille. And un saludo muy grande a toda la comunidad que sé que están viendo en México. Me da mucho gusto que nos están acompañando desde allá. And just thank you to everybody. It's been a real pleasure to be here in person with everybody. And many blessings to all of you at the beginning of this conference.
Now we're going to have the pleasure of, what do they call that, technology, bringing us in Anita? Sorry, Ria.
Hello, I'm Ria. I live in the Netherlands, in Europe, and I'm a trustee since a little over 2 years. I'm really sorry that I cannot join you this time in Ottawa because of reasons of health, but I hope I'll meet you all virtually in this weekend. I wish you all a wonderful, heartfelt, warm time, and I hope you'll feel inspired for the coming time on your path. Bye.
And representing Brazil, Susie.
Hello, my name is Susie. I am from São Paulo, Brazil. I've been serving as a trustee for 6 years, and today I am here at the module, and there will be a graduation for new facilitators. This is the reason why I can be there with you guys. So I'm here to wish you an excellent conference and that you have a wonderful time together. Bye-bye.
Actually probably about 5 years ago now, I was talking to Madeline Dietrich and saying, what if you guys hosted a conference? And she's like, well, you know, we are a small community. And I said, well, what if we brought in the neighbors? And hence we have Michigan and Vermont with us, and we had a committee struck with the three of us and the foundation, and we're about to see their names. There they are. So I definitely want to acknowledge the people that have served on this committee: Madeline Dietrich, Susan Santisi, Susan's taken the key administrative role, and everything we're getting on the temporal plane here has gone through her, so thank you, Susan. And her, I don't know, I don't want to call you her assistant because you're just as, but certainly you and Susan Jean have worked really well together. Jean Miller, thank you. Isabel, Judy, and Donna Gray. Thank you again, Donna Gray. Moi. And Letizia Befile. Thank you, Letizia. I have to also say, and they're off camera, we have Letizia's adult children, Luigi and Mariah. And I think the fact that they're sitting there manning that technology is an indicator as to what they're providing, which none of us could provide. And thank you, Elder McKay, for mentioning ancestors, because we are also aware of our ancestors, and I'm standing in front of the table, which has a few of them. I'll move out of the way. I can't read the slides if I'm... Have we got the ancestors up? My apologies for names that are not up there, that should be up there, but we did want to acknowledge some of the people whose backs we've piggybacked on, the people that taught us, and we want their spirit to be with us here. May I just pause for a sec while you can contemplate those names. So if you have anything that you want to add to the memorial, in memoriam altar, please do so. Thank you.
I want to add one more person who was the leader and the founder of Pathwork Vermont who passed, Sarah Aschenbach.
Yeah.
Deserved to be named.
Sarah Aschenbach's name is not up there, so my apologies to Sarah and you, Isabel. So the theme, reconciling opposites within us and around us. And this really emerged over the past few years. I think many people, with the pandemic, with politics splitting left and right, environmental issues, there's just all this stress on people staking grounds and staking positions and division. And I think a lot of people felt stressed, anxious. Certainly I did at certain points over the last few years. And reading the Pathwork material, the guide tells us we don't have to live that way. But if we don't want to live that way, we have to do the interior work, because we're creating from the inside out. This stress that we're experiencing is coming right out of people's psychic conditions, their attitudes and beliefs and feelings. So, working with Sage Walker, of course, you have to look inside. You're not allowed to blame other people. So, when I started looking at my hatred, where was I being aggressive, intolerant? Where was I sort of creating or putting a line in the sand and saying, here's my final position and I'm not budging? When I looked at that energy in myself, brought that back to myself. Why am I so dogmatic and belligerent in certain circumstances? Or if pushed in this way, that's it. That's I'm not going any further. I found the opposite, which was, of course, I shouldn't say of course, but, well, maybe it is of course, I don't know. But I found that side of me, my traumatized child consciousness, that is afraid, that doesn't know how to do things in the world, that doesn't know how to be in the world. And so as I began to hold those two parts of myself, the one that was belligerent, aggressive, it's like, oh yeah, I'm acting that way because I'm defending this one. I think that's the only way that I can make my way in the world. And as I identified the intolerance of this one side of me for the other side, and where the weak side was refused to demand that he be seen, that he be cared for, that he be taken into consideration, and also consulted. I don't want you to aggress on people. Certainly, So as I started to work with that, I began to shift in myself. And then it became very clear that a reconciliation process emerging, and it became very clear, oh, I'm suddenly finding people more amenable. I'm suddenly finding that people aren't as aggressive and dogmatic as I thought they were. That's the hilarious part in the pathwork. It's all, you're finding this in other people, but suddenly it's because you've changed. They didn't change. They might have changed, but... So, creating anew. And I think this is one of our hopes, I think, in the pathwork today, that we can bring the wisdom that is in this pathwork material, that we can bring that into the world from our own examples, from how we live, from how we act. And we are going to have a deep exploration of that tomorrow morning with our keynote speaker, Sage Walker. How many times have I said your name? Enough? Right. Cheers. I think the last thing I want to say on this is where the guide tells us, we don't do this work to have a perfect world. The guide lets us know this is never going to be perfect here on this realm. But we do this work so that we can find the greatest good for the greatest number. That we can find the path that serves as many people as possible, and also that then takes into consideration the effect on those who are not served. And that's our work. So, right. So with that, I want to light this candle with this hope that I'm just feeling around for the match. There we go. So I pray for just the flow of the Spirit through all of us, healing and nurturing us in these days together. Amen. One of my trustee buddies is going to come up, Donna Gray. And Yeah.
So we wanted to have some token to give out to everybody, just, as a gift from the trustees, as symbolizing something that we thought mattered. And when you think about reconciling opposites, when you're caught up in the polarity of one way or another, it's very hard to have your heart open to love. But if you surrender to the 50-50 of it, and knowing that it's good and it's bad, and we're doing the best we can and we're here, then we can be present for each other with an open heart. And so the idea for this came from Anita Heald. She brought it to the foundation, but she got it from Olga Tanaka. It was originally Olga's idea. And so from Olga, through Anita, to the foundation, we would like to offer you a gift as a symbol of where we hope this conference will lead you.
If you're online, please stay with us. We are distributing tiny little hearts in a tiny little sack. I should be in advertising. All right. We are almost there. And I was about to call on Isabel, but she's being chatted with. All right. Isabel.
Breathing. I feel called right now to continue the beautiful creating sacred space that we have started, that you have started, and then Paul continued, because creating sacred space is bringing in the divine into the physical. So and it also, we need to co-create this together. So I invite you to just put your hand on your heart, just reconnecting to your own heart, to your own physical body. Acknowledging this body, this temple for your soul, for your spirit. And actually taking a moment to check in and asking, how is this body doing? And then I invite you to just put your hand out there and connect to the field that has been created already in the last 2 days. With those of us that have been here, we have created a field of honesty, of love, of truth, of being with what arose within us. We have called forth the Christ consciousness, our ancestors, and all these energies are all here, all around us, and we can feel it. You can feel it with your fingertips. This field of love, invisible thread of light that is connecting us all. And we create sacred space by remembering who we truly are. Spirit, incarnated for a certain amount of time in these physical bodies, with a mission, with talents, with gifts to give and also gifts to receive. I invite you to notice what arises when the mind becomes still and we just perceive from every cell of our body, from our core essence, and we just are present. And from this place, I invite everyone to open and welcome the Christ light, the intention from all of us that brought us here. Our love from each other. And from the higher realm, I call forth any ascended master, and we call forth protection and the highest frequencies, welcoming it in our field and grounding it all the way into the earth, so the earth and all her children can also receive and be blessed by these high frequencies that are pouring everywhere on this earth and have been for the last few years. They hold all the solutions, all the love. They love the unified state that as human beings we so long for. So thank you for creating sacred space with me. And I'm going to do a short guided meditation. And for the people online, as for the people here, I would like you to have access to paper and pen, because at the end of a meditation, you will be asked to write 3 things on a piece of paper. And then these papers will be collected and put in this white ball, which is representing, I want to say, the heart of God, representing all possibilities, all miracles, all solutions. And that these pieces of paper with your prayers will be held in this container throughout the conference. And for the people online, to write those 3 answers in the chat, and they will also be printed and cut up and put into this sacred bowl as well. So can we start with the music? We will start with the music. Yes. Just receive the frequencies of this music. For music is a great teacher, a great language that touches us, has the capacity to touch us directly in our heart. And this song is actually called With His Love, and it's from Peter Gabriel. And it's not a song, actually, it's music. So I invite you to reconnect with your own center again, and your highest self, where you have direct connection with Source, with Mother, Father, God. And see if you can feel supported and connected. So at certain interval in history, this is a guide quote, at certain intervals in history, a new influx comes in your world because humanity has grown sufficiently to make ready for this particular influx. So it is now, with the Christ spirit permeating this world. So I invite you to open up and imagine constant filament of light pouring into you, into humanity, onto this earth plane, holding, supporting all that is happening, all that is unfolding moment by moment. Consider that your center, your core essence, is being activated and expanded by this Christ light every day, every moment, every hour. That the great love of the sacred feminine is upwelling from every cell of your body. That this light frequency holds all the solutions and healing we need to midwife this earth and each other into the next level of consciousness, the unitive state. So for the next 2 or 3 minutes, ask your higher self, ask this light to illuminate within you 3 aspects. Three conflicts or disharmonies that you are feeling that you need help with. Number 1, an aspect of yourself you are having a hard time accepting. Number 2, a person you are not being able to reconcile with. And 3, a world situation or issue toward which you are feeling a strong judgment. So going from the inner to the close surrounding to out in the world. So for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Well, they're on the. They're up there. Yes. So, and I'll ring the bell in 3 minutes. So I don't have paper. So as you fold your paper, this is an example of a prayer, but let's say a prayer As you close your paper and you imbued your prayer into this little piece of paper, asking for help, surrendering to divine guidance. We are at the place in history where the ego cannot figure it out anymore. To get out of the mess that we have created, we need to surrender to greater consciousness, and the time has come, and the time is now. So, dear God, Divine Mother, Father, Great Spirit, hear my prayer. I need help with these conflicts, divisions, painful situations. I don't know what to do. I surrender to your greater love and wisdom. Please teach me how to be with these tension fields. Show me your way. Thank you. I stay open to the possibility that your prayer may receive an answer, a solution, a new way of being with these disharmonies, maybe during the next 4 days. Okay. Now we're going to pass the baskets, and Laetitia is going to do the other. Oh, you can do it. Okay. Okay, the music. Yes. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of the ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of light, and builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith, makers of peace, wisdom of ages.
So, as we close the opening ceremony, we would like to cover some logistics. So we're sort of transitioning right now. For our online participants, you will now hear from Brian O'Donnell, who will provide a tutorial on our online platform. For our in-person participants, the following are a couple of reminders that will help make your conference experience a good one. So let me step back from a moment and wish a farewell to our online participants. And I'll take a moment, and then I'll be able to speak directly to you. Okay?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this tutorial on how to easily navigate and make the most of our conference platform. I'm Brian O'Donnell, and I'll guide you through this login process. and introduce you to the platform's main features. To get started, open your web browser and visit IPathVC.com. That's IPathVC.com. Once you're there, look for the language selector button in the bottom right corner of the website. Click on it to choose the language you prefer. If you ever need a refresher on this tutorial, you can find it anytime by clicking on the Help button located just above the language selector. Now let's move in to the login process itself. To log in, simply click on the Login Conference Platform button in the website header. You'll be prompted to enter the email address you used during registration. After inserting your email address, you'll receive an email containing a login link. Just click on that link and it will automatically redirect you to the conference platform. If you can't find the email in your inbox, please remember to check your spam folder. Once you're successfully logged in, you'll notice 4 main icons on the platform. First, we have the home icon, which is where you'll find the presentations, access the chat, and much more. The presentations will be displayed in the middle of your screen, and you don't need to click anything to navigate between them. As one presentation ends, the next one will start automatically. If you want to view a presentation in full screen, simply click on the screen icon. And if you prefer to listen to the presentation in a different language, you can click on the language selector to choose your preferred language. Moving to the right part of your screen, you'll see the chat section. Here you can engage with other attendees by sending messages. You can also view the list of attendees who are currently online by clicking the attendee icon. By clicking on someone's name, you can send them a direct message. Next, we have the agenda icon. Clicking on this will allow and show you the full schedule of the conference. Please note that the displayed times are in Eastern Time, so keep in mind any time zone differences you may have. The lounge icon is where you can interact with other pathworkers. Each table represents a specific theme and language. We've provided a summary of all the themes and corresponding table numbers to make it easier for you to find a table that interests you. It's a unique opportunity to connect with people from all around the world who share your interest in the pathwork. It's a relaxed and welcoming environment, perfect for making new friends and strengthening existing connections. Feel free to explore all the platform's features. Don't be afraid to take risk. To join a table, simply click on Join Table. You may be asked to allow the platform to use your camera. All you have to do is click on Allow, and you'll be connected to the table. It works just like a Zoom meeting. You can see and speak up to 8 pathworkers at each table. The Communities icon allows you to explore and learn more about the different pathwork communities around the world. If you wish to change your name, password, or add a picture, just click on the My Account in the website header. As the conference progresses, you'll have access to the recordings of these presentations that have already taken place. To watch these recordings, simply click on My Recordings. To return to the platform at any time, just click on Join Conference in the header. Thank you for following along with this tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our tech support team. You'll find their contact information displayed on the screen now. Now, I'll hand it back to Judy Hollis to conclude our opening ceremony.
And now that we are moving towards closing of tonight's ceremony, let's make the most of this opportunity to connect and learn, regardless of our location. We are eager to provide you with a seamless conference experience. In closing, may we inspire each other and deepen our consciousness and relationship with each other. Thank you for your attention, and we are excited to see all of you tomorrow.